Yes, start, Vaishnavi.
Good evening. Good evening to our respected speaker of the day, Dr. Varadraj Bapat sir, and all the respected participants present today. I am Vaishnavi Singh, student of TYBSCIT from Vedanta College. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this national level faculty development program on the Indian knowledge system. We are excited to witness our educators engage with the profound wisdoms of India's ancient traditions, which continue to inspire and guide us for our several generations. The FDP will equip faculty with the tools to connect ancient wisdom with modern education, enhancing the appreciation of India's intellectual heritage. As per to our nation, may I request you to rise for the national anthem?
जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा बंगा हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you. Thank you so much. As we go ahead, I request our principal ma'am to speak few words.
Thank you, Vaishnavi.
Thank you.
Namaskar and Shubh Sandhya to Professor CA Varadraj Bapat and all our dear participants of the day. Sorry for the inconvenience. We got a little late due to a technical glitch. Friends, हमारा इतिहास और हमारे ग्रंथ मैनेजमेंट लेसन्स का भंडार है। मोहनजोदारो और हड़प्पा सिविलाइजेशन के एक्सट्रैक्ट्स आपको बताते हैं कि उन दिनों प्लानिंग, ऑर्गेनाइजिंग और फ्यूचरिस्टिक थिंकिंग कितने कमाल की थी। हमारे देश का हर मॉन्यूमेंट टीम वर्क, स्ट्रैटेजिक थिंकिंग और इनोवेशन पर हमें उत्कृष्ट सबक सिखाते हैं। भगवद गीता is a globally followed text for its extraordinary teachings in balanced thinking and performance. Through Mahabharata, Lord Krishna taught us lessons on situational management. डॉक्टर वरदराज बापट देश के प्रसिद्ध विद्यालयों से जुड़े हुए हैं और भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा पर कई व्याख्यान दे चुके हैं। We are fortunate to have an opportunity to listen to his wise talk today. Thank you, Varadraj Bapat, for taking your time out and being with us. We are anxious to, eager to listen to you. So over to you and for the talk.
Yeah, namaste everyone. I am really excited to join because I have been associated with Vedanta College not just for this talk, but even otherwise on their advisory committee. And I know it's a very sincere college, genuinely trying to put efforts to bring up students from weaker sections, students who really need handholding. So I thank the college as well as Principal Sangeeta ji. And I was very happy to see the list of speakers and various topics. And we know that under national education policy, there is a significant emphasis on Bharatiya knowledge system. So college and Dr. Sangeeta has done very good effort that different aspects of NEP have been brought in. We would like to discuss on NEP in management. It should be useful for the teachers in management, commerce particularly, but in general, everybody who is interested in the field of management, who is interested in Bharatiya knowledge. So in next 35-40 minutes, I would try to discuss various aspects wherein Bharatiya knowledge teaches us, Bharatiya knowledge takes us for improving our efficiency, for better cooperation, for better communication, and so on. And many of these concepts are already known to you, but it is very important, especially for teachers and researchers, that these concepts are well documented. We bring it in the academic fora, in the journals, and so on. So with this, I'll share my PPT and then we'll continue our talk. Yeah. Can you see the PPT?
Yes, we can see it, Varad.
Yeah, and it is moving, right? Slides are changing.
Yes, they are changing. Yes.
Great. So in this PPT, I have spoken about need for IKS scope, various aspects, but I'll skip this because in earlier sessions it would have been already covered. But in short, we know that this is a very, very old legacy, at least 5 to 10,000 years old, but we are trying to reclaim it after 1,000 years nearly. So it is almost new to us. We know that Bharat was invaded initially by Arabs, Afghans, and so on, and then by British. And most of our ancient knowledge is lost. Even now, several universities in Europe and US have thousands of manuscripts written by our ancestors, and they are just hardly 5% of total manuscripts because so much of knowledge was already lost and destroyed by ancestors. So we'll start with the meaning of Bharat. So as we know, we are talking about Bharatiya knowledge systems, and name of our nation in Hindi or in Sanskrit and in almost all Bharatiya languages is Bharat. So what do you understand by Bharat? Either you can respond on chat or I suppose most of them are on YouTube, so
YouTube,
we
yes.
won't have feedback.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can think at your end and then I'll try to respond by giving answer myself. So there are two components to it. One is bha, and other is rat. रथ आप बहुत सबको पता होगा, किसी में रथ होना, किसी में इन्वॉल्व होना, किसी में एंगेज्ड होना. एंड भा रिफर्स टू लाइट, भा रिफर्स टू knowledge at a more subtle level. So Bharat is a nation which is engaged, which is involved, which is interested in knowledge. And we have been spreading this knowledge for thousands of years. We were the knowledge leaders, but somewhere down the line, that knowledge system got lost, and then we became beggars, not by management thought or by education, because we started to bring in some foreign knowledge and we forgot our knowledge. Anyway, नीचे एक श्लोक लिखा हुआ है. I hope you all can read it. It says, "Ano bhadra kratavo yantu vishwataha." That's a kind of slogan of Bharatiya knowledge system. Again, try to think of its meaning. I know you can't respond, but think it at your level. भद्रा बहुत सभी लोग जानते होंगे कि भद्र यानी कल्याणकारी, जो सभी विश्व के लिए अच्छा है. विश्वतः ऑल्सो यू नो. सो आनो भद्रा, जो हिंदी में आनो का मतलब है आने दो. दैट्स एग्जैक्टली संस्कृत मीनिंग. सो आनो भद्राहा यानी अच्छे थॉट्स सभी दिशाओं से, पूरे विश्व से हमारी तरफ आने दो. रिमेंबर, दो वी वेर नॉलेज गिवर्स, we were never close-minded, or we never said that what is ours is the only truth. We said that truth is spread everywhere in world, in fact everywhere in Brahman, and we are willing to accept, we are willing to open, we are open for thoughts and good thoughts coming from everywhere. इसीलिए हमारी जो ज्ञान परंपरा है, हमारी जो नॉलेज सिस्टम है, that is the oldest in the world, but it is evergreen because it is inclusive. We keep on updating ourselves. Of course, some of the things will become outdated, some of the things will change because of changing technology, and we never say that क्योंकि हमारे पुरखों ने 1000 वर्ष पहले या 500 वर्ष पहले या इवन 50 वर्ष पहले कुछ किया था इसीलिए वो सही है. तो दैट इज नॉट इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम. अगर कोई ये कह रहा है तो दैट इज अ रिजिडिटी. But our original knowledge system is always inclusive and it is evergreen. That is why it's called as Sanatan, because always we are open for new thoughts. One more important thing, it is continuing. We know that there are cultures in Egypt, Mesopotamia, or ancient Europe, but they have all been lost. There is no continuity with what population of today is versus what was there 2000 or 5000 years ago. But in case of Bharat, we have a continuous knowledge tradition. Some of it we might have lost, but many of the traditions, many of the practices we have continued. So it's a continued tradition, and we are trying to reclaim our own heritage. But mind well, it's not just for us. We are trying to reclaim it for the whole of ह्यूमैनिटी, क्योंकि ये पूरे विश्व के लिए हमारे पूर्वजों ने बनाया है. आई विल गिव 2 small examples. Maybe you have heard about it. We know that there were efforts made for patenting turmeric, and it was in 1995, and then it was successfully challenged. So anybody remembers like how was it challenged and when was it finally cancelled? That patent was cancelled. कुछ लोगों को याद आया होगा. मैं दिखाता हूं that it was cancelled because of the efforts by CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and it was revoked. The patent was revoked in 1997. The major reason for revocation was that there was a paper written in 1953 in the Journal of Indian Medical Association, which showed medicinal properties, which documented medicinal properties of haldi. Of course, we know that crores of Indians use haldi on a daily basis. हम हमारे खाने में भी खाते हैं. We also use it for external purpose, and we also use it for several as a medicine. But the point is, traditional knowledge needs to be documented. It needs to be researched. Then alone world will listen to it. That's why I showed the example. There was a similar case for neem. Has anyone heard of their patenting of neem was also done? Some of you might have heard of this, that I mean almost all of you know that neem is also a medicine. It is also a pesticide, and it can be used for curing cold and so on. One of the American companies in 1994 filed a patent with European Patent Office, and it was granted in 94 for antifungal properties of neem. Now this was a tough case because हल्दी के केस में एक क्लियर कट जर्नल पेपर मिल पाया, बट नीम के केस में वो नहीं मिल रहा था. So it took a long time to cancel it. Only in 2000, EPO revoked it, saying that there was lack of inventive step, but company went in appeal. Finally, that appeal was rejected only in 2006. Remember, 94 से 2006, 12 वर्ष लगे ये प्रूव करने को, क्योंकि so many ancient Sanskrit texts needs to be extracted, translations need to be presented. कंपनी तो हमेशा बोलेगी कि हमारे इन्वेंशन के बाद ये लोगों ने टेक्स्ट बनाए होंगे, so one needs to prove the ancient knowledge. Again, I know these two examples are not from management, but मैंने इसलिए बताया कि most of you would be teachers, researchers, कितनी आवश्यकता है, कितना एफर्ट करने की जरूरत है. Just because government said that you can include IKS in our syllabus, it's not enough. We have so much of knowledge everywhere, but unfortunately, it's not so much documented. It needs to be researched and documented, and that's our collective responsibility. Next example I'm giving is about yoga. We know that today we observe International Yoga Day. वो कब होता है, किसको याद है, and from which year it started? Some of you would have remembered it is observed on 21st of June, the biggest day, and it is from 2015. In fact, the first meeting after Modi ji became Prime Minister in 2014, he proposed this. And this was a historical resolution because almost all countries, highest number of countries actually accepted this immediately. In the first time it was presented. Because बाकी के days है वो 4-5 साल discussion होने के बाद accept होते हैं. Anyway, why I'm showing here was prior to this, there were so many attempts even to patent yoga. Lot of asans foreign universities claim कि ये हमारा आसन है. For example, neck pain है, neck pain ठीक करने के लिए इस प्रकार से आसन करके you can get out of it. But that they will say that it is our invention. So you have to pay us royalty to do that asan. So lot of patents were attempted to be lot of yoga postures or asanas were attempted to be patented. There were also attempts to patent pranayam. There are many attempts even now to patent several systems of dhyan, which again shows that how much is documentation important. Now it is becoming difficult because Indian government has taken major steps to have a electronic library of our ancient knowledge and so on. Now coming to management, all of you would have heard of several models of motivation. Management and commerce teachers teach it. So can you think of some models of motivation? हर्सबर्ग थियरी आपको याद होगा या मैस्लोस थियरी याद होगी. Remember, most of the models of motivation, they are Western in nature. Many, nahi, almost all are Western in nature, whatever we are taught and what we teach. And most of them are actually success oriented. They are incentive models. If you succeed, you will get some reward. Of course, you will be happy, you will perform even better, you will get a bigger reward. You are even more happy, you will perform even better, you will get greater reward. Great, सब अच्छा चल रहा है. But what will happen to people who are average or who are underperformers? They don't get any reward. So what happens to them? These models have no solution for them. Theoretically, Western system ये बताती है कि these people should be thrown out. They should not be in the organization. And in case of companies, MNCs actually try to crush other companies so that there is no competition and then they can increase the prices. So that is the model of West. But the problem is, in reality, such people also stay in organization. But they are underperformers. दूसरे को award मिलेगा, naturally उनको अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. So what they do is, most of you would have observed, वो दूसरे की टांग खींचते हैं. They don't allow others to perform so that average comes down और उनका underperformance इतना apparent नहीं हो. I think in all organization it happens because the problem is with the motivational models. If you look at Bharatiya motivational model, that is Karma Yoga. Many of you would have heard about it. So मैंने आपको श्लोक और उसका अर्थ दोनों दिखा दिया है. So कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्य मा फलेषु कदाचन. So this tells that हमारा अधिकार जो है वो कर्म करने का है. We have a right only to do our karma. And we don't have to look at the outcome. क्योंकि हमारा थिंकिंग भी वेस्टर्नाइज हो चुका है. आप लोग सोचते होगे कि ये तो मैनेजमेंट थॉट में नहीं बैठता है, बिकॉज आई विल ऑलवेज हैव टू लुक एट द आउटकम. दिस डजंट से दैट यू वोंट गेट आउटकम, या हम आपको फल नहीं मिलेगा. व्हाट इट सेज इज, एज यू परफॉर्म, concentrate fully on karma. More for many of us, or rather for most of us, actually 50% of our attention is there. कि कर्म फल मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा. Just one sec, my battery is getting down. I'll just start charging. मोबाइल लैपटॉप कैसा चार्जिंग का लावतात तुमचे? काहीतरी असं नाहीच पाहिजे.
तिच्याने लावलेलंच आहे
लावलेलं
तिथंच चार्जर
होतच
आहे
नाही चार्ज. चालू आहे चालू आहे. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes,
And is the PPT also seen? Or
Yes,
just
yes.
stop sharing?
yes, yes.
Yeah, actually, I am not able to see my own PPT. Yeah. So,
But it is there on the screen. We are able to
it's
see.
there, right? It's there.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Fine. So, we were here कि अब हमारा जो अधिकार है वो कर्म करने का है. And that does not tell us that we don't have to look at the outcome. Only thing is, as and when we do the work, we should not look at the outcome, because most of our energy often goes only in looking at the outcome. What it says is, outcomes will follow. हमें फल अवश्य मिलेगा. We have to basically focus on the work. You will see also the remaining part which says that कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्य मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भु. यानी only looking at फल, don't do the karma. So what it tells is we should do our karma for because it gives us satisfaction. Now this takes care of person not getting reward. Even if we are not successful, we'll be happy because we'll be satisfied from the work itself, not from the reward. Reward will automatically come if we put our best. एकदम जो fourth part है, that is equally important. It says मातु संगोस्त कर्मणि. कर्मणि बोला है, but actually it is अकर्मणि. यानी आपका जो संग है वो अकर्म के साथ भी मत रखो. बिकॉज फर्स्ट पार्ट में ये बोला कि कर्म का संग मत करो, बट इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट इज आलसी भी मत बनो. अदरवाइज पीपल विल थिंकिंग कि वैसे भी कर्म की तरफ, फल की तरफ नहीं देखना है तो कर्म भी करने की जरूरत नहीं है. सो व्हाट कर्म योग सेज इज पुट योर बेस्ट टू द वर्क एंड डोंट ट्राई टू अवॉइड द वर्क, बिकॉज यू हैव टू डू द वर्क, एंड by doing best you will get satisfaction and you will also get reward. कभी कभी आप सक्सेसफुल नहीं होंगे तो भी you don't have to worry, because you have learned those skills, you have improved yourself, so rewards will follow. Now you will realize that many of you would already know it, कि this was never taught to us in management classes. This was not treated as a management model. In fact, one of my student, he is now professor in one of the IIMs, Ajinkya Naure, he did his PhD on Karma Yoga and then presented in some of the top journals, putting Karma Yoga as a model of management. मैं जो आपको बता रहा था initially, that this is how we have to put our concepts in front of the world. Whole world is looking at new concepts. Have you heard of have you heard of Japanese management concepts?
Yeah.
Can you name a few?
Yeah, like that just-in-time model and the Kaizen model.
Correct. And almost all those models were initially not accepted by Americans. Whole of the management learning was essentially US in nature. In fact, even now it is largely US in nature. But only when Japan became successful on ground, US started recognizing the Japanese model. पहले होंडा के कार्स ने चैलेंज किया जनरल मोटर्स के कार को यूएस रोड्स पे. उसके बाद में अरे अगर ये सक्सेसफुल है तो उनका कुछ मॉडल भी होगा. फिर जेआईटी क्या है, सिक्स सिग्मा क्या है, पीपल स्टार्टेड लर्निंग. एंड यस, वर्ल्ड विल बी लाइक दैट, because world will not accept you unless you are successful. And now, fortunately for us, Bharat is becoming increasingly successful, and as Bharat or India is getting successful, people are curious to know about Indian models. So this is an opportune time for us from both sides, that we are getting promoted for Indian knowledge, and at the same time world is also getting curious कि there must be some knowledge system for Bharat. Now going ahead, we know that just one second, I'm not able to see my PPT, so not able to take it.
Yeah.
You can see my PPT, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You're still not able to see your PPT?
शेयर्ड है वो, बट आई थिंक मेरा व्यू का कुछ मिस्टेक हो रही है.
हाँ, 1 मिनट मैं कमलेश को पूछती हूँ कुछ सेटिंग में. भरत, स्टॉप करके शेयर, स्टॉप करके फिर से शेयर कर. अभी हमको दिख रहा है तेरा स्क्रीन.
यस यस, अभी अच्छा हो गया.
हाँ वो
आई
एक
कैन ऑल्सो
बार,
सी.
हाँ वो स्टॉप करके वापस किया ना. हाँ ठीक है.
यस यस
या वी
यस.
कैन सी.
ग्रेट ग्रेट. So, yeah. So this is an opportune time for learning up more, and we can take more such cases. But now I go to the core part because we have very limited time now, maybe another 15 minutes. So looking at what is a Bharatiya knowledge, Bharatiya management thoughts. We know that there are several Western models which we teach, learn, and so on. But there has to be a Bharatiya model. For that, we can have a look at world economic history. Some of you might have seen such chart. This is an outcome of study by Angus Madison. This study was instituted by OECD countries in 1997, and in 2007 they came out with the publication of World Economy, a Millennial Perspective. So they have studied it over a period of 2000 years. And as you can see here, in 00, India had a share of as much as 33% of world GDP. Even in 1000, we had a share of 29% of world GDP. Till Britishers arrived, 1000 ke baad we were attacked from Arabs, Afghans, and so on. Our share started shrinking. But even when Britishers arrived around 1700, our share was 24.4%. So in the last 2000 years alone, we were world leaders for 1700 years. Only in last 300 years, we are a poor country or we are a backward country. So definitely there has to be a very strong management model when we are global leaders for so long. It's not just 25 or 50 years ki chalo coincidentally hua hoga. It's a very system of Indian society, Indian industry, which had made us leader for so long. In fact, we know that as per our scriptures, it is thousands of years. But even by Western records, it is nearly 1700 years. And we can see that with our collapse, actually Western Europe went up. And that is the time also China went down and US came up only during First and Second World War when their GDP touched 27% in 1950 and it's slowly going down after that. In fact, share of Europe is also slowly going down in last few years and India and China are coming up in last 20-25 years. So our story is not from rags to riches. We were always economic empire. We were always leaders in management. And Western economies, in fact, need inflows from outside. For long, it was colonization, then it was technological influence, and last few years, it is basically debt inflows to European countries or to US. So, yes, we need to re-establish our thought. Since economic thought it as a base of managerial thought, I have just shown the difference between Indian versus Western economic thought. You can see here, Western is a materialistic, Indian is holistic. When I say Western, it's not to blame Westerners. We have also become materialistic. So हमको भी आप वहां डाल सकते हैं, but our ancient thinking was essentially holistic. Western thinking is comfort driven. All effort is to increase the comfort. एक comfort मिला तो दूसरा comfort, दूसरा मिला तो तीसरा comfort. Whereas Indian thinking is bliss driven. So we want comforts. We are happy with comforts. But that's not all. Effort is to increase our happiness, increase our bliss. Western thinking is individualistic, whereas ours is collective. And Western thinking is competition, whereas ours is cooperation. I'll give you two examples to make the point. Many of you would have seen Three Idiots. किसको याद आता है? एकदम शुरू में ही एक सीन है. A professor is telling something to the students. Do you remember who was the professor?
बोमन ईरानी, वो
उनको प्यार से वायरस बोलते थे वहां के स्टूडेंट. And he is telling that if you want to succeed in life, you have to crush others. वो एक अंडा फेंकते हैं कि जैसे ही कोयल का बच्चा बाहर आता है, वो कौवे का अंडा फेंक देता है. And that is exactly Western thinking is, though it is shown in an Indian film. Whereas Indian is more cooperative and collective in nature. Again, some of you would have heard about Ubuntu. Ubuntu का एक अच्छा वीडियो आता है. वो it is done by again an American social scientist. So they go to a small village and there are small kids who are not under Western influence or in fact who are not studied. उनको वो एक फलों की टोकरी देते हैं. But they keep it at a distance and ऐसा बोलते हैं कि हम लोग 1, 2, 3 बोलेंगे, you should start running. Whoever reaches first will get that basket of fruits. And then they say 1, 2, 3. बच्चे यहाँ वहां देखते हैं, nobody runs. Then एक दूसरे का हाथ पकड़ के they together run. And all of them together win that basket full of fruits. So American social scientists is shocked because that is exactly opposite to what they teach or what they practice. When they say, they even us, as most of us. So they ask those students, especially उसमें से जो तगड़े student थे, थोड़े ज्यादा एज के थे, because they could have ran fast and won it. लेकिन बच्चे ये बताते हैं कि how can we enjoy without our friends? That's a collective thinking. Even we have become very materialistic. बट आपने भी सोचा होगा कि अगर आपको कोई चॉकलेट या कुछ फ्रूट खाना है, नॉर्मली आप दूसरे को दिखाकर नहीं खाओगे. एक्चुअली वी शुड शेयर विथ अदर्स, बट इफ नॉट एटलीस्ट हम लोग चुप चुप से खाएंगे, क्योंकि दूसरे को दिखाकर खाना हम लोग सही नहीं समझते हैं. Whereas you would have seen that advertisement that neighbors envy is owner's pride. याद है ओनिडा का एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट आता था कुछ वर्ष पहले. So idea is not only that I should show others that you don't have. That supposed to be gives me happiness. People buy luxury car not for comforts. Most of them buy दूसरे को दिखाने के लिए कि देखो तुम्हारे कार से मेरा कार कैसा अच्छा है. मेरा कार ज्यादा कॉस्टली है. That means I am a richer person. I have more income. That is the individualistic competitive thinking that I want to show others. And Indian managerial thinking is togetherness, team spirit, and so on. This is more elaborated. I'll not go through all points, but you understand that in Western system, man was considered as a mere material being. Whereas India, human being is not just material, It is physical, mental, intellectual plus spiritual being all together. So society being viewed as a club of self, whereas all individuals treated as limbs of society. हम सब पूरे समाज के अंग है. So exploitation of nature because of greed. If you get some resource, उसको जितना fast exploit कर सकते हो, fast exploit करो to increase your ROI. Whereas Indian thinking is you milk the mother nature because nature is sacred. Of course, हम उससे कुछ लेंगे, but we'll take only as much as we need. Would have heard that we have got 4 objectives of life: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. In Western system, there are only 2 objectives of life: artha and kama. Artha is making money, and kama is fulfilling our desires. इंडियन सिस्टम ये नहीं बोलता आप पैसा मत कमाओ, आप बहुत पैसा कमाओ, but you fulfill your desires within certain limits, within limits of dharma. Dharma is not religion. Dharma is about our duties. For example, as teachers, we should prepare for our lectures, we should go on time, we should teach wholeheartedly. That is Shikshak Dharma. Vidyarthi have a dharma ki they should learn properly, they should respect teachers. So our rights or our karma is within the limits of dharma, and ultimate goal becomes moksha. So it talks, Western thinking is about obsessive consumption, ours is about restrained consumption. आगे बहुत सारे स्क्रिप्चुरल रेफरेंसेस है कि why I am saying this is Indian thought, but मैं इतना सब में नहीं जाता हूं. I'll just show it that yes, we have a Shri Sukta. So right from those times, right from Rigvedic times, Lakshmi was revered. So we want money, we want wealth. ऐसा नहीं कि we don't want it. So it says manasa kamama kutim, means fulfill the desires. मन में तो desires आएंगे, fulfill them. But vacha satyam ashimahim, that means follow the path of satya. Then only you can fulfill your desires. कुछ उपनिषदों से है, मैं थोड़ा फास्ट जाता हूं. आगे भागवत पुराण कई लोग पढ़ते हैं या सुनते हैं, but more as a religious text. But he says that our income should be divided into 5 parts. 20% should be for dharma oriented needs, means we should give back to society. 20% we should keep aside for contingency. 20% we should reinvest in our business. In other words, we should save 40%. And only 20% is for livelihood of ourselves and family. So remember, if business and even family needs to flourish, we need to save 40%. But Western thinking is to almost spend 90 or 100% of the income. That cannot flourish the business or even family in the long run. ऐसे बहुत सारे मैनेजरियल लर्निंग्स हमारे स्क्रिप्चर्स में है. नॉट ओनली हमारे स्क्रिप्चर्स में है, वी इवन प्रैक्टिस देम अननोइंगली. वी डोंट नो कि हम लोग इंडियन थिंकिंग प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं. जैसे, बिकॉज दिस हैज बीन रेज्ड, आर यू अवेयर हाउ मच इज अ पर्सनल सेविंग ऑफ से इंडिया एंड यूएस?
No.
Most of you would know US का पर्सनल सेविंग बहुत कम है. It's just 2 or 4%. And they are heavily indebted. The federal government का alone debt is more than 30 trillion US dollar on their GDP of 20 trillion USD. इंडिया का पूरा GDP ही 5 trillion है. But remember, our saving rate is 28%. हमारे शास्त्रों ने तो 40 बोला है. Same scripture Japan also follows, and they actually have 40% GDP. We are very much under Western influence. We were also 40, then it came down to 30, today it is 28. But remember, it is much more than Western societies. In fact, if the major societies who are saving today are Japan, China, India, and some of the Southeast Asian nations, who are all under this Sanatan economic and managerial thought. As against this, most of the Western nations are spending more. So हमारे शास्त्रों में भी लिखा है, I just diverted a bit, also to link it to management, that it is also being practiced by the society. I'll give some more examples in next 5 minutes or so. Here you can see Yajna. I hope you are able to see. One
Yes.
is a smaller circle is Vyashti, bigger circle is Samashti. So smaller you can say as an individual, bigger is society or bigger is family. When we are small, family gives us yogaksham. Family हमें food देती है. Then as we grow up, we have to give back our karma to family. या आप family to society भी सोच सकते हैं. That society gives us everything. It gives us water, it gives us roads, it gives us infrastructure. We have to give back our karma. Then it again gives us back in the form of karma phala. And finally, we have to give back yajna. That is without expecting back anything. Yajna doesn't mean only fire. वो तो एक symbol है. Basically, we have to, a smaller entity has to sacrifice for the bigger entity. And this is what was practiced by our ancestors for thousands of years. So we were prosperous. As we tried to become selfish, I am saying tried to, क्योंकि हम पूरे selfish हो नहीं सकते हैं. But when we tried to become selfish, actually we became poorer and poorer. Similar thoughts are there in Jain, Buddha philosophy, Kabir हो, तुकाराम हो, थिरुविल्लुवर हो, but अभी मैं इतना डिटेल में नहीं चाहता हूँ. There are many mentions of economic activities like banking or borrowing or about ethics in many of our scriptures. Again, I can't stop comparing. You know that almost all Western religions, वो Judaism हो, Christianity हो या Islam हो, they do not view interest as something good. In fact, they do not allow borrowing and lending activities. Whereas in Bharat, they were not only allowed, they were well regulated. There were banking systems even thousands of years ago. There were hundis or ancient financial instruments. दोनों टाइप के hundis थे. एक तो there were demand hundis like checks we have today, and there were muddat hundis like bonds which were encashable after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year and so on. So वो एक system हमारे यहाँ ancient time से है. Then in Indian writers on economics particularly, you would have heard about Chanakya who has written Arthashastra. I think there is a separate session on it, so I'll not devote my time on that. Even during British time, many of the Indian authors, which includes Dadabhai Nauroji, who wrote Drain of Wealth, जो हम लोग एंगस मेडिसिन में देखते हैं, same thing Indian authors have written, which includes Dadabhai Nauroji. Swami Vivekananda presented a paper called as Silver in India. When he was visiting US, he has actually presented a paper on use of silver in India. Because often we know him as a yogi, as a sannyasi, but he has also written on economics and business. Then there are many thinkers, Lokmanya Tilak ji, who created Paisa Fund, a way of crowdfunding in those days, and listed companies and malls were established even in British time. Then we know Mahatma Gandhi, who emphasized on simple living, Swadeshi, ethics, and so on. Prominent author was Ambedkar, who was an economic and managerial author. His first thesis, the first one you can see on top, is Ancient Indian Commerce, which he presented in 1915, that in detail mentions about trade, commerce, manufacturing, and infrastructure in ancient India. So we don't have to just refer to Western authors. Even Indian authors did it even in those days. There are many other writings, but I'll go to the last one, the essay which Dr. Ambedkar presented in 1956, जिसका टाइटल है बुद्धा एंड मार्क्स, जिसमें डॉक्टर अंबेडकर ये बोलते हैं कि इन दोज डेज रिमेंबर सोवियत यूनियन वाज हाईली सक्सेसफुल, एटलीस्ट इट वाज क्लेम्ड टू बी सक्सेसफुल. Dr. Ambedkar says that even if Russia is highly successful today, that is not the path of human happiness, because material well-being without Dhamma is not sustainable. He used, in fact, harsher words. He says that it is nothing better than fattening of pigs. So more comforts, you are being just treated as pigs that cannot make human beings happy, because they need samskaras, and most importantly, they have higher purpose in life. Of course, अगर हम hungry है तो we need food. But once our basic needs are satisfied, we look for higher purpose needs. That's why he said that don't follow the path of Marx, we must follow the path of Buddha. That is Indian managerial thought. Then Deen Dayal Upadhyay ji has also said it. ये एक इंटीग्रल अप्रोच है, बट मैं थोड़ा फास्टर आगे जाता हूं. भगवान बुद्ध हैज रिटन what is put as Buddha economics. Again, it talks about keeping our demands or needs at minimum, harming the environment minimum, and trying to maximize our happiness. Now, as managers, you will not be happy just with some concepts. वो concept practice होते हैं क्या? Are they also in use? There are several examples, but I have put in 4-5 in front of you. We know that India has a very strong family system, though that is also under attack, but still we are much better than many other places in the world. And that family system strengthens our family businesses. Yes, we do have most of the contribution of our GDP, even now, comes from family businesses. Unlisted companies may be, or listed companies may be. Then we have a community orientation and social capital. Most of our commerce, most of our business, even now, is not dependent on banks. We are not even getting some seed funding or venture capital, though uski bahut hawa hai. But remember, most of the businesses essentially come from community sponsored or because of friends, because of relatives who give some money. Then one interesting piece of, I will show here the chart or a histograph. This is about self-employment rate. Remember, Bharat, as you can see here, this is a statistics from ILO. Bharat has as much as 78% of people who are self-employed. Because we are a decentralized economy, as per our thought. Though our educated people chase, all of them want placements, I know, but most of the people who are undereducated actually are self-employed. Most of you would have heard about research papers on Dharavi. Dharavi is the biggest slum in Mumbai. In fact, it is the biggest slum in Asia. So people assume that it will be full of only laborers, जैसा Western countries में होता है. But when it was studied, it was observed that there are more than 3,000 industrial units within Dharavi. So वहां पे laborers रहते हैं, लेकिन वहां पे industrial units भी है. That is a decentralized setup Bharat has. So we were able to face many downturns much more easily, or COVID much more easily, because ours is a decentralized type of economy. That comes because of our culture. Sources of financing, thoda we have already discussed. Savings we have discussed. Next important data is about remittances. So if you look at the top 5 countries receiving remittances, India is always the leader. Right? Data I have is from 2008 to 2024. So in last year alone, we received 140 billion USD worth of remittances. That is possible because Indians stay abroad, work abroad. They are able to save firstly, and they send back the money for their families. That doesn't happen elsewhere. You can see the countries like India, China, Philippines on top. Not any of the Western countries. Though they earn much more money than us, remittances from Indians are at the highest. So this shows the close family ties which Indians even today have. Last one, we know that US is known for stock markets, or rather US stock market moves the stock markets all over the world. Next to that, you have China, you have Hong Kong, you have Singapore, and so on. But the highest number of shareholders, highest number of transactions, highest number of listed companies, they are all with India. That doesn't happen coincidentally, because we have got a lot of retail participation versus institutional players in Western world. again remember that our social systems are different. So world is now interested in that. But unfortunately, it's not much there in our managerial education. We have to slowly bring it because our business world is more decentralized. It's more cooperation based. जैसा मैंने पहले बताया था कि though I was telling you that Western is more individualistic, ours is cooperative. Even Western management world is today moving towards team spirit. They are also talking about compassion. They are talking about higher purpose objective. Because remember, our thought process is sustainable and world over people are recognizing it. And here I am showing some of our success stories, whether it is defense, whether it is space, whether it is vaccination. So our success stories are also rising, attracting world towards it. So why I'm telling you again and again these things, because don't feel that IKS is कुछ वेदों में लिखा है, पुराणों में लिखा है, भगवत गीता में लिखा है, thousands of years ago, we should be proud. Yes, we should be proud, but also remember that it is equally applicable, it is equally useful to the world today. Research के लिए भी अच्छा है. You can publish in top level journals. It is also very important in today's managerial era, in the corporate world also. As management teachers, we'll have to convince it to the students. Otherwise, students सोचेंगे चलो ये क्या IKS government ने बोला इसलिए कुछ पढ़ा रहा है. We have to tell them that yeah, as and when they go to corporate world, as and when they become managers, these are going to be the in things in next 5 years or 10 years. That's why it's very important, interesting. This is the last slide. We know that Yogi or Maharshi Arvindo, he wrote this in 1910, even before First World War, that India shall rise on the ruins of the Western world. And that he said it will happen after 125 years. We really see it is coming up. So we are in 2024. I am sure by 2047, we are going to be the second or perhaps even the first economy, the corporate leader also. Of course, we all have to work on it. We'll have to contribute to IKS, and I'm sure you all will be excited to be a part of it. With this, I'll stop. I'm open to questions. Namaste. Dhanyavad.
Yeah. Thank you, Varad. It was amazing, brilliant, incredible. I really don't have words because not only about the information which you shared, but with the statistics. Because we as academicians, we always believe के statistics होगा तो ज़्यादा विश्वास आता है. और तुम स्पेसिफिकली आईआईटी प्रोफेसर, आईआईटी से पीएचडी किया है, इसलिए तुम्हारा प्रिपरेशन में बहुत पर्टिनेंट और बहुत बढ़िया स्टैटिस्टिक्स के साथ तुमने पूरा समझाया. इसके लिए और भी ज्यादा विश्वास एंड एक्सेप्टेंस हो जाता है पूरे टॉक का. I have two questions from the many questions we received from the participants. One of it is that जिसके ऊपर तुमने already बोला है कि मतलब एक हमारा कल्चर तो रिच है, उसमें बहुत सारा वैल्यूएबल इंफॉर्मेशन है, बट प्रॉब्लम ये है कि रिसर्च बहुत कम हुआ है वो सब पे. अब हम जब जैसे पतंजलि का भी देखते हैं तो प्रॉब्लम वही है कि वो बहुत सारा बोलते हैं कि हमारे ये सब दवाइयों से ऐसा फायदा है वगैरह वगैरह, लेकिन because it has not been proved, the medical fraternity will not support it, and so they are losing in that. So somewhere we need to work on this. अब ये जो IKS गवर्नमेंट ने स्टार्ट किया है, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा एफर्ट्स डालना पड़ेगा ताकि हमारे एशियंट और जो ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज है उस पर रिसर्च हो and it reaches the common man in a simple way, because that is the need.
That's true. And we should also not feel everything which was written 5,000 years ago will be applicable. हमारे कल्चर ही नहीं बताता है ये. हमारा कल्चर यही बताता है कि what is relevant, what is useful today we should do, and for that we need to research, find out what is true, not to have a closed mindset. एक closed mindset हो गया, वेस्टर्न ने जो लिखा है वही अच्छा है. दूसरा ये भी क्लोज्ड है कि हमारे एंशिएंट लोगों ने जो लिखा वो सभी अच्छा है. Definitely 80-90% of it is useful. Something would be outdated also because technology has changed. Human mindset behavior change nahi hua, but technology has changed. The way management functions have changed. So definitely we have to apply the Western knowledge to, ancient knowledge to current settings. And then the world will accept it. As I said, एक तो अच्छा रिसर्च करेंगे, जर्नल पेपर्स आएंगे तो ही टेक्स्ट बुक्स में आएगा, नॉट जस्ट इंडियन टेक्स्ट बुक्स, ग्लोबल टेक्स्ट बुक्स. सेकेंडली, our corporate and our government has to perform on roads. जो कुछ हद तक हो रहा है, then automatically world will be inquisitive about it. जो कुछ हद तक योग के केस में हुआ, कुछ हद तक आयुर्वेद के केस में हुआ, सारे विश्व को लगने लगा कि हाँ इसमें दम है, कुछ तो है, करना चाहिए. And that's how it has happened. You can see here I have shown some references of some research papers and books which are written, both Indian and Western, and much more needs to be done. Thanks.
Yes. So, and the second question is that most of our ancient texts are in Sanskrit or Pali or languages which has lost touch with the common man. और तो उसके कारण भी ये सब टेक्स्ट को कोई रेफर नहीं कर रहा है या उसमें से जो ज्ञान है वो निकल के नहीं आ रहा है. सो कुछ लोग ये भी बोलते हैं कि जो टेक्स्ट में है वो इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स है कि कॉमन मैन समझ नहीं पाता है. तो उसके लिए क्या सोल्यूशन है, बिकॉज उसका कॉमन मैन तक पहुंचना फिर उसके बाद एप्लीकेबिलिटी हो सकेगी.
I think many of you would have, almost everybody would have heard about Arthashastra, चाणक्य ने जो लिखा था. But have you heard how was it discovered?
No.
It was not known anywhere in India. उसकी एक भी कॉपी नहीं बची थी. Because all our libraries were burnt, especially in North India. South India में, केरला में उसकी एक ही कॉपी थी. And that was in the library of Maharaja of Mysore. Maharaja of Mysore. Even वहां भी वो discovered नहीं थी. Only in 1935, one librarian got curious. He started reading Sanskrit manuscript. जनरली लोग क्या अज्यूम करते थे और आज भी करते हैं कि संस्कृत मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट है, कुछ पुराणों का, वेदों का कुछ लिखा होगा, समथिंग रिलीजियस वुड बी देयर. बट ही वाज शॉक्ड टू सी कि अरे ये तो इकोनॉमिक्स का पूरा टेक्स्ट बुक है. एंड हियर आवर फादर ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स इज सपोज्ड टू बी एडम स्मिथ, बिकॉज दिस वाज नेवर ब्रॉट इन टू द लाइट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. वो 1935 में एक अर्थशास्त्र मिला, इसलिए आज लोग चाणक्य पे कुछ हद तक लिख रहे हैं. But remember, there are thousands of manuscripts in Indian libraries. There are thousands of manuscripts taken over and kept in British and even in US libraries. So one way of doing research is learn Sanskrit. I know it's a tough path. We'll have to first read Vyakran, Paninian Vyakran to understand it. But some good courses have started now. Online courses, jo really are interested in giving time. Even IIT has started those courses, but one needs to learn it at least for a year or two and then start reading original manuscripts. I mean, that's one top level of work. Second, I know everybody can't do it, but many manuscripts have been translated, but we have to read it in the context. जैसे हम लोग in a sense, people who know management, who have slightly understood commerce, if we read Bhagavad Puran from that angle, तो ये मैंने बताया ना 20% वाला, then we'll get it. Because lakhs of people would have read Bhagavad Puran, or even they are reading now, but they will not look it from that angle. जैसा हमने देखा कि बहुत सारे लोग भगवत गीता पढ़ते हैं, उनकी कंठस्थ भी है, but still they will not be able to say that this is a management model, a motivation model in that. So even if we read translated text, but हमारे सब्जेक्ट के एंगल से अगर हम पढ़ेंगे, तो then also we can come out with many interesting thoughts. Then we'll have to properly articulate them in the form of research paper. And third way of researching is, even if we keep aside the text, there are a lot of things which actually happen in society.
Yeah.
जैसे आपको पता होगा कि जीतो है, जैन इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इट्स वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट कम्युनिटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. वो तो वेल एस्टैब्लिश्ड है, बट हर कम्युनिटी में एक दूसरे को हेल्प करने की सिस्टम है, बट इट्स नॉट डॉक्यूमेंटेड.
अच्छा.
So there is also possibility of research on what is there on ground, but has never been documented, or no research paper has been written on that. So I would suggest all teacher researchers to take any path you like, and yes, there is a lot of thing you can do. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you'll just stop the share stop sharing the document. Yeah. So, yeah, it was amazing, and a lot of things what we came to know from your talk today are completely new and eye-openers. एंड सबसे बढ़िया बात तुम्हारे टॉक की थी कि तुमने उनको उसको बहुत सिंपल रखा, क्योंकि इसको बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स बना देते, एकदम हाई लेवल का बोल भी कर पाते तुम, लेकिन फिर वो सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स के लिए मुश्किल होता. सो व्हेन यू वर टेलिंग अबाउट चाणक्य नीति, आई वाज थिंकिंग दैट वी शुड थैंक द्विवेदी, डॉक्टर द्विवेदी, बिकॉज उन्होंने उसको सिंप्लीफाई करके सीरियल फॉर्मेट में डाला, तो कॉमन मैन का थोड़ा उसमें टच हुआ. सेम थिंग अबाउट महाभारत एंड रामायण ऑल्सो. वी हैव especially Mahabharat, because that's also a complex document and there is so much to learn from that. But again, चोपड़ा ने जो इतना सरलता से बनाया, तो थोड़ा सा और ऐसे कुछ लोग इकट्ठे होके हमारे एंशिएंट डॉक्यूमेंट्स को सिंप्लीफाई करके कॉमन मैन के लिए बनाए, तो एक कनेक्ट बैठेगा. बट द अदर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग व्हाट यू सेड इज दैट रिसर्च करना, और बहुत ज्यादा रिसर्च करने का जरूरत है, वेयर गवर्नमेंट का इंटरवेंशन और ज्यादा होगा तो इट विल हेल्प मोर. So thank you so much, and I request Kiran to give a formal vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. It is myself, Kiran Punjabi, as Assistant Professor from the Vedanta College. It is my distinct pleasure to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of the Vedanta College and Sri Shankar Lal Sundarbai Shashun Jain College for Women. Today's national level faculty development program on the Indian knowledge system has been an enlightening experience, and we have many people to thank for making this event a resourcing success. Firstly, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Varadraj Bapat. Dr. Bapat's session on management thought and Indian knowledge system has been both insightful and thought-provoking. Your deep understanding of the subject and your ability to weave together the traditional Indian knowledge with contemporary management thought has offered us a very valuable perspectives. Your contribution was truly enriched and understanding and appreciation to the Indian knowledge system. I will again like to thanks to our principal ma'am and Vedanta College team, those who were working very hard behind the scenes, and today for that they have executed this faculty develop program very well executed seamlessly. So this collaboration has proven, an excellent platform for our academic exchange and also for our professional development. So at last, I would like to express a gratitude to all the participants who took the time to attend and engage with the session. Your enthusiasm and eagerness to learn what makes such program meaningful are truly successful. So we hope the knowledge today we have inspire our teaching and also will give a good meaning to our research. Again, at last, I will thanks once again to all the participation for their support and giving this faculty development program a good success.
Thank you so much, and regret for the inconvenience. आज का प्रोग्राम थोड़ा सा जिंक्स्ड था कि शुरू में पहले जूम लिंक का कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो गया, फिर वरद के यहाँ फिर कुछ थोड़ी सी टेक्निकल इशू हो गई, but the participants are really amazing and they are very supportive. Last 2 days we have been seeing they are highly enthusiastic and encouraged group of participants. So thank you so much, and we will meet again for another enriching session. Thank you, Varad, and we'll stay connected.
Thank you, all of you.